guy, aka Bat King.
That's right. Bat King, Bat Cave. You know, I come back here and it's where I bring all my designs to life. So pretty much whatever you want to call it.
So what are we doing today? Looks like mohawk.
Yeah, that's what I got. So
light on the sides, bald on the sides.
I try to do light on the sides with a nice sharp edge.
Now, before the Bat King, what type of artistry would you say held your attention? And I mean, what really was the passion that drove you to even stay in this art?
Well, you know, my whole life I've done art. I can remember in elementary school when you're supposed to be taking notes. My notepad was just filled with doodles and drawings. It made it very hard to study for tests. But so I've always done art. I've always loved cartoons my whole life. When I was around 15, 16 years old, I was at a fair, a local fair, and there was a guy airbrushing, and he was airbrushing a Chicago Bull on a shirt. And I'd never seen anything like that before, and I was just amazed by the airbrush. So when I was 17, I decided to buy my first airbrush, and pretty much the rest is history. I got a passion for it, and no matter what type of art I've done over the years, I've always had an airbrush close by. So
to that note, I can draw. I'm a pretty good drawer.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I was about maybe 14, 15, and I bought an airbrush kit.
Okay.
And it didn't turn out the same. so like,
well,
I've seen you sketch, and I'm like, oh, this guy clearly can draw. I mean, they go hand in hand. But could you speak to the difference in the technique?
With airbrushing?
Yeah.
And okay, so, you know, most airbrush artists, when you watch them, it almost looks like they're just kind of like pushing down on the trigger. But what you're really doing is you're pushing down and you're pulling back, but you have to keep that motion constantly moving. So to do my lines, you know, I push down, I get air, I pull back, I get paint, but the amount of air that I push down to get and the amount that I pull back is what determines the amount of paint flows. So it's like a push and pull technique, and it just takes a touch, and it only comes from doing it and practicing. And a lot of people, when they start the airbrush, their first thing that they do is they push down and pull back, and they get a big paint splot.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
sounds about right.
Yeah. So it takes practice and developing the technique on how to use that airbrush. But you know, anyone I've ever taught and I've ever shown it to, I just try to stress to them, it's just a tool. You know, you got the art inside you. Once you learn how to use the tool, you'll be able to get it to speak for you. So.
Yeah. Snap. That was definitely poetic.
Thanks.
So, speaking of all these baseball bats, have you played baseball?
Yeah, I played baseball at an early age. I played all through high school. I played a little bit of Legion ball after high school. I never took it any further than that. You know, my dad, you know, growing up, he always wanted me to be a pitcher. And so, you know, I practiced pitching. I pitched pretty well, but it just wasn't something that I had a passion for. You know, I enjoyed the sport. My son plays it. I coached a lot of his youth, but I didn't have a passion to get out on that mound and go put that work in every single day like you need to with anything that you want to, you know, be successful at. So you know, the joke in the house is my dad wanted me to be a baseball player, but this is probably the next best thing because I have my artwork out there on the baseball field. And, you know, I sent him a picture of some baseball cards that had my work on them, you know, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
so.
For real. Yeah. Definitely is. Oh, that's dope. So you, speaking of your just artwork being out there on the fields, I've seen multiple stars, you know, flaunt your bats. Not only, you know, just swinging them around, whether it's the practice field, summer, what do you call it, spring training.
Yeah, certainly.
to the All-Star games. Is there any MLB stars that are your favorite to do designs for?
Well, Jurickson Profar, he's one of my favorite. He's a pretty happy guy. Anytime we're around him, he's smiling. One of my absolute favorites is Julio Rodriguez. He's just a pleasure to be around, and he's a young guy. He's 23 years old. Anytime I show him like a new design, because I'm not sure how he's going to receive it, his eyes just light up. He gets a big smile on his face. He's a real great guy, and him and I have talked about working closely together over these next years that he's in the league to try and do some really unique bats. You know, I've been doing some bats for him things that I like and I hope that he likes, but now we're starting to move into the direction where he's like, well, this is what I like, and can you design something like this? And giving me like challenges in a way, but I enjoy that. And you know, Fernando Tatis Jr., he's another gentleman. I did designs for him, and in talking with him, I'm like, well, you know, let me know if there's anything unique you ever want. And he's like, well, you've been hitting the mark every single time. So that's always nice to hear.
And that Tatis back is probably my favorite.
Yeah, well, thank you. So
that's a real, not only the design of how you incorporated his hair, are they braids or dreads?
Well, they're dreads, yeah.
How you incorporated them in the bat, but then you stepped it up a notch, and you actually have another one that has like hair on it.
Yeah, so a lot of the MLB teams are doing like, you know, something for a home run celebration, whereas the team might put on a coat, or they might get in a shopping cart, or the Mariners hold a trident. So I was like, well, but no teams have a rally stick. So I designed that bat, and I actually sent one out to him with the idea that, you know, you spin it in your hands and his hair flies all over the place and the chain goes wild. And it's kind of like a little rally stick to get the team going. So I'm not sure if it's made it into the dugout, but you know, the thing with some of the bats that I do, I'll hear from the players and like, oh man, this is so nice, I don't want to swing it. And, I'm like, man, it means so much more to us to have you swing that bat than it does for me to take the time to do another one for you. You know, I can always do another one. You know, go out there, use that thing, you know, light up the lights with it, you know. So
that's a nice transition, because that was one of the things I was thinking about in my head. I'm like, yo, these, not only do they look pristine, but I mean, it was some custom artwork done to, you know, me as a baseball player having my face, you know, on this bat.
Yeah.
And how do I feel if I go out there, swing it, now it's chipped, or even worse, now it's broken in half?
Yeah. Well, you know, and it's, you know, I mean, Victus, you know, we make the hardest bats in MLB. So the chance that the chance that these guys are going to break this thing, they're going to have to get an inside pitch on the hands that they swing at. You know, our bats are extremely durable, and you know, the way that I do my custom process, I finish them with quite a bit of our finish, making those things hard as a rock. So, you know, I never want that to be a reason why someone doesn't want to swing the bat. So.
Or just, yo, it's nice. It's too custom. It's like a pair of J's that came out.
Yeah.
Oh, nah, I'm keeping these in a box, in a case, in my mansion.
Yeah. Well, we had Brandon Marsh in the shop yesterday, and
Brandon Marshall?
Brandon Marsh.
Brandon Marsh.
Yeah, he's the Philadelphia Phillies center fielder, and a couple years ago, I did a little Uzi Vert bat for him, and he called our pro rep guy up, and he was like, "Are you sure you want me to swing this thing?" He's like, "I love this bat." And he's like, "Yeah, man, go swing it." So he did. He went in the game. He swung that bat. I think he got at least one hit with it.
Yeah, I was about to say, but did he make contact?
Yeah.
Come on, Uzi.
So, yep. So, and then, you know, last year in the home run derby, Julio Rodriguez hit 81 home runs in that derby, you know, with a graffiti bat that I had made for him. So, yeah, it's pretty special to see those guys swing it. So, another thing I do want to say about the bats, these guys, they're young, you know, and it's nice that they can use these bats in certain situations to let some of their personalities show, you know, because I think it's only going to help grow the game,
for sure.
You know, so. Save $76 on your purchase when you head to My Philly Fades ChoppShop /76 using promo code BATKING.
Definitely. So,
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to ask you, just for namesake, how does it feel to have, Mookie Betts on the stage of the All-Star game holding your bat? A baseball bat that you did, your hard-earned work in here. And he's like, yeah, I just asked Bruce to make me something special, and this is what we came up with.
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome feeling. When you do something for these guys and they like it enough, they get a lot of attention put on them, and every little thing they do, people pay attention to. So for them to take a piece of artwork that I do and put out there, it's awesome. It puts a spotlight on our brand, Victus, and it puts a spotlight on the Bat King brand. So, we've been making Mookie Betts' bats, since he came into the league, and it's nice to have that partnership with him. So,
and plant that seed early.
yeah, yep.
So what were you doing before you found Victus?
So,
Or did Victus find you?
well, no, Victus found me, but before I was at Victus, I was painting motorcycles. So I was in-house at a motorcycle shop, and that's what I was doing. So I think I was there for like 7 years, custom painting motorcycles, which I love doing. Motorcycles are a lot of work, but seeing a bike go down the street is pretty cool in itself.
Right.
A lot of the guys that got the the motorcycles painted, they're looking for the trophies, So that's always, it's a win-win when they go to those shows and they get those trophies. But that's what I was doing before Victus found me, so.
Yeah, Philly fade. Yeah. 6 o'clock, Philly fade. This is a cut off your top. I'm Allen, now you Ty Lue. I'm stepping in, sweeping shuffle.
Have you ever given any thought of scaling any other customizations to the point that you've done baseball bats, or are you comfortable in this realm?
Well, I will tell you, when I came to Victus, the one thing that I talked with the CEO about, Garrett Smith, is that I wanted to leave a legacy, and in that is me doing something with their limited line that wasn't done before, and that would take it to another level. I think they had like maybe 1 or 2 releases a year before I got here. Now we're having at least 12 to 13 releases plus a whole bunch of special projects. So my goal is to build a team and to build a design portfolio that will give Victus bat artwork for the next 50 years. I want something where I can train underneath of me, so they can come in and they can do certain designs, start to finish almost, or start to almost finish, so then the Bat King can come in there and put his stamp on, the final stamp on what needs to be done. And that's kind of what my mind is. That's where I would like to get it to. So I wanna give other artists an opportunity to come and express themselves, but I wanna make sure that I give them the right foundation to come into. When I first came to Victus, I spent a couple months not trying to develop airbrush skill or art skill, because I had it, but it was more of us finding how to adapt my skill to a baseball bat in the best way, where it fit with the brand, but then it still allowed me to express myself. So I feel like creating that base for any artist coming in behind me is essential, so they know how to get started with it, not just looking at a raw piece of wood and being like, well, man, where do I start?
Right.
So I think, so like I said, for me, it's about legacy, and obviously bringing on more of a staff will help, scale everything up.
So speaking to that of legacy and scaling to help automate this creative process, is there anything that you do as far as mentorship for up and coming artists like yourself, or even any artist that would like to be in your shoes and do what you're doing?
Yeah, I don't do too much one-on-one like in-house, just because of the simple fact of, a lot of things we do at Victus are trade secret, so I don't want to give any of those processes away. But I certainly have contacts that I talk to quite a bit through like social media and stuff, where guys will hit me up and ask me uh, just just about like certain techniques that I'm allowed to give away. I don't, like I said, I don't want to give trade secrets away, but you know, they'll ask me how I do this or whatever, and I'll try my best to give them guidance and help them, and certainly encourage them to keep doing it, because I want to build something at Victus, but at the same time, in order to really change the game of baseball, we need a lot of artists out there doing these bats to put pressure on MLB to let these things get on the field a lot more consistently. So yeah, I encourage them to keep doing their thing, and if I try not to give any other artists, creative criticism, but I certainly will let them know when I like something that they do, and it's a special feeling when they like say to me like, "Oh man, I can't believe you followed me," or "Thank you so much," and all. And but I just keep trying to remind them, like, we're all artists, and we're all trying to just have our voices heard. So.
I wanted to ask you about that also, and how you touched on it, that the MLB doesn't really allow as much customization and creativity and just expression as, for example, basketball.
Yeah.
The NBA, the NFL, even with their cleats.
So, without getting into too much trouble with MLB, MLB is more old school. And
Definitely.
To their credit, they have started to come around a lot more than what they had done in the past, and allowing things like the home run derby. Last year in the All-Star game, we had a bunch of custom bats that were used by players, which in the past was not allowed. We have the Little League Classic, which for that I submit designs to MLB and for approval, and then they can use them in that game. And then there is also a batting practice, which in the past we heard pretty sternly that they were not allowed to use them in batting practice. But last year, Julio Rodriguez pulled out the bat that I did for him, and we didn't hear anything from MLB. So then we started flooding all the guys with BP bats, and like I said, we haven't heard anything about it. And it's important for MLB to understand that these guys are just trying to express themselves. I can understand if there was like marketing being done on these bats,
Right.
But there's not, and and I can
It's got my
understand
name
why
on
they
it.
wouldn't want that. Yeah, well, yeah, certainly. But Victus is an approved vendor for MLB, so their logo is allowed to be on those bats. But I couldn't put like a Nike symbol or something like that on there.
Right.
So, but we have a really good partnership with San Diego Studios, who does MLB The Show, and I supplied them with quite a few custom bat designs for the game. I think so far, we're up to like 25 designs that I've given them for the game.
Oh, wow.
Last year they released, I think, 12 of them. And this year the rest of them will get released, and I'll just continually keep giving that to them. But if you watch people play online, they're not using a standard bat. They're using a custom bat. Because it means something to them. It's a bat that they like. It's like, black and white Nikes are cool, but also the ones that are custom painted are pretty dope too, So, and some of those bats are hard to get in the game, so it's kind of like a clout thing as well.
So is there any type of designs that, so I'll retract with this. I've heard you say that during your creative process, you always keep in mind, hey, what if I have to make 100 of these? So has there ever been a design that you conjured up and it was so dope that you said, you know what, I'll just set that thought process aside and I'll go ahead and at least do it for this one, for these 10?
Well, let me give an example of that another way. So our parent company is Marucci Sports, and they're down in Baton Rouge. And the CFO, Michael Uffman, he asked me to design a redfish bat. So to put this fish, it's not actually red, it's gold, but he asked me to put that on a bat. So him and I went through a couple months of a couple different iterations of that bat.
This the one I was looking at?
Yes, that's the redfish bat.
I said, yo, I don't know what or who asked for this,
Yes,
but this right here,
yeah.
this bat slaps.
Yeah, oh, thank you. So that bat was very laborsome. And going back, if I knew, I think right now they have an order in for like 70 some of those bats. If I knew that they were going to try to upscale it, I probably would have still been in the design process now.
I hear that.
So, you know, that bat, I think the first one I did sold for like $800 at an auction.
Sheesh.
And they let some people buy them, not as many people as would like them, but they sell it for $500 normally. So, but yeah, they got a lot on order right now, and they take a lot of time to do. So, but you know, it is one of my favorite bats that I created, just because it was so far outside the box of anything I've ever done. So I actually have a couple different fish ones that I'm working on now, but those I have the thought process of.
Do they not have individual scales? And
No,
stuff
they do
like
not
that?
have individual scales.
So I see you have a lineup here. Who are you working on now?
Well, right now I'm working on some Jordan Alvarez bat heads, which are bats that I created to kind of be like a cartoon version of the player. Just to speak, so Marsh, yesterday when he came here, I showed him a caveman bat design that I was working on for him. So I'm pretty excited about doing that one. So, but yeah, these are Jordan Alvarez. And then over there, there's another project. That's a little secretive project that we're working on with a company. That one's getting released in July. So.
And this style of, what are the head bats called?
They're called bat heads.
Bat heads.
Yep. So my saying is I'm a bat head. So.
And where the inspiration come from in order to create something that's pretty custom, as having my own face on my bat, but it's not too, intriguing into detail.
Yeah. So we wanted to release a bat for Black Friday, and we wanted to release Fernando Tatis Jr. bat. So I was challenged with coming up with a design for him. So, I was just wrapping my head around, like, what am I gonna do? I wanted to have something that represented him on it, as far as like his figure, his face, whatever. So, I was at home with my son, wrapping ideas around. I'm like, man, what if I put his face on the bat? Because most of the time when you're designing, you design the bat horizontal. And I was like, what if we turn it vertical and put his face on there? And I was like, oh yeah.
This one?
Yeah. Well, that one's Jordan. The top over there is on that same, the huge one on the wall is a big one of Tatis.
Yes, and where and why?
Well, the Tatis bat head, what we call it the El Nino bat head, El Nino meaning the kid, that one was so popular, I wanted to do it on a big bat, because I tell people that the big bat kind of fits his personality. But yeah, so I was talking with my son. I was like, oh man, I was like, I could do the dreads down the back, but keep them natural.
That's
and then
dope.
my son was like, you could put his sunglasses on him, and then it just kind of evolved from there and turned into the bat heads. So, and quite possibly, but I don't know what the word is. If it's not cool, whatever. It's unlimited, really. The designs you can do bat head wise, because you can do animals that way. You can do cartoon characters, people. Whatever. I'm working on Aqua Teen Hunger Force, so I have a Venom pool bat in my office that I did. So you can go in a lot of different directions with those bat heads.
That right there though is a gift. Like you brought up earlier, speaking to artists in your field and giving them or withholding constructive criticism just because they may not be able to take it, just like you said.
Certainly. When I design stuff, my designs for bats, we have our limited meeting, and I'll go in and I'll show those designs, and we have about 5 guys in there, and everyone has their own opinion on what they like, So me as an artist, every single thing I do is incredible, But you have to have a little bit of a leeway for the fact that other people also have ideas, and they might if you open yourself up to that creative criticism, it might take you someplace that you didn't think of, and it might take you to a better place. And I will tell you, last year for the All-Star game, I had these Hollywood sign bats that I did the players' names to make it look like the Hollywood sign. And it wasn't my original idea. One of the guys in the meeting was like, "Oh, you should do like a Hollywood sign on the bat," and I was like, "I don't know how that's gonna look," So I'm like, I can give it a try. So I noodled with it for a while, and I did a couple different iterations of it before I got to something that I really liked. And the end process was, I feel like, as a team, we created a really cool looking bat, and a number of the players took them out on the field with them and all, so it was pretty cool. So
Yeah.
but had I been closed to not want to hear what anyone has to say or anything like that, I might not have ever gotten to there on my own.
Well,
So
collaborative thinking is a thing.
yes, it is, certainly.
Definitely is. So I intentionally brought a plain black cape
Okay.
because I want to leave something with all the artists that come through my Philly Fades ChoppShopp, so they can not only leave their mark, but they'll have something to hang up in the ChoppShopp rafters.
Okay,
So
nice.
this is your blank canvas
Oh, okay.
for you to work on
Nice. I will definitely tag
with your
this up.
convenience.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna tag it up, man.
Freestyle Bat King,
Oh yeah, and it's gonna say Bat King.
as it should,
So,
as it should.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Very nice. Okay, cool. I'm definitely gonna do that.
So you're what we were talking about, the main thing. Oh, well, sit that there.
Okay.
Is that the bat I was talking about?
Would bat?
The LeBron? That's not LeBron.
No. The top one. This is a cigar bat.
Oh, I
So,
see it now.
Yeah, it's a cigar bat. Now this design, when I first came to Victus, I actually did this design and I did the label with the Jordan in it, and that bat went to Michael Jordan. So that was kind of nice. One of the first cigar bats went to Michael Jordan. So
That's dope.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So
As it should.
yeah, so yeah.
That another pencil?
This is I was playing with colorways of the pencil bats. So this one I did in a Phillies pencil, a Phillies color theme. And if you notice on this one, it says 3BH, 3 for Bryce Harper's number, BH Bryce Harper, and then KBKH for Kayla, Brooklyn, and Crew Harper. So it's very personal for him. I haven't had a chance to give it to him yet, but but yeah. But yeah, this would be a bat that I probably give him as well as a number of others for the Little League Classic. So
That's dope. Some bombshells here.
yeah, this bat is based on the P-40 Warhawk. So the P-40 Warhawks, I think it was World War maybe 2. But this was a very popular image on those. So I designed a bat like that, and in doing so, I designed some other iterations of it. Like I call this one the Angry Hawk because he looks even a little bit more angry. It's got some battle scars on him, and then I did a version of it as the Joker. So
I like that.
Yeah. So I try and have fun with them. So Pickle Rick, Rick and Morty fan. So
Of course.
yes.
Pickle Rick.
Did a Halloween themed bat. I did this bat here. This is a bat that's in MLB The Show. This bat we haven't released in the United States and probably won't. We released it in Japan for Victus Japan. But I call this bat the Ronin. So we have a samurai warrior in the logo.
That is dope.
Thank you. This one I used a gloss and a flat finish And you know, the gloss makes the samurai kanji, and then we add a little bit of gloss to the eyes, and the handle obviously I did to kind of replicate that of a sword. Yep. So this is probably one of my favorite bats, and one of the hardest bats to get in the video game. So, but
Who's this guy? Oh, that's a leprechaun.
yeah, yep, that one's called Lucky. Quite simply.
As it should.
I didn't have to dig too deep for that name. So.
I like how you threw the chain in there to kind of not leave the Victus floating around.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Victus has always kind of pushed the envelope when it comes to baseball and what we do with bats. So I thought the chain was a great way to add swag, you know. So, and, you know, I don't have it today. My Bat King chain, I was at an event last night. I brought the chain out. He didn't come back today. But yeah, so the Bat King definitely wears a chain. So a lot like my bat has. That's Gritty. The Flyer's Gritty. So he was a fun bat to make. And Gritty has one of them, and they filmed him in a commercial with it for opening season last year. So.
All right. Who's this one?
Well, so. Once again with Bryce Harper, so this bat I did, this one we called Liberty, so based on Statue of Liberty.
Okay.
So, you know, I wanted to, that was our release last 4th of July. So I wanted to do, we sent some of those out to players. We sent one to Judge, Aaron Judge, Anthony Volpe, and I wanted to do a version for Bryce Harper, but I didn't want to do the Statue of Liberty, so I made the Philly Fanatic look like the Statue of Liberty with a Liberty
I
bell.
like, you can call it bias, but I like the stomp on the intention there.
Yep, this one I called Freedom. So this one went out to Harper and all. This one we never released, but I thought it'd be cool to have the Fanatic as the Statue of Liberty. So one of my favorite rap artists right here of all time, MF Doom. So I had to do something for him. So
Was this before or after the passing?
This was before, because I've always loved Doom. I've done a couple different Doom bats, but this is probably my favorite one. But I'm hoping that this year I have a contact with his organization, the foundation, I should say, and I'd like to do something with them and collab to kind of help with that, you know, in any way I can. So we have Santa Claus here. Tim Anderson, Julio Rodriguez.
Julio signed this one.
Julio did sign this bat for me, so this one was pretty cool. So I have a lot of these signed. Like I said, most of them were hidden away.
You said this
is Jordan.
Jordan started these, right?
No, the start was was Fernando Tatis Jr. Okay. So I have the actual first one at home, but this one is pretty close to the beginning. So
yo, but peep the back of the neck, the mohawk in the back.
Yep. Like I said, you know, these players, they all have their own flavor and their own style, and I try to find something that helps bring that out. That's John Kruk. So I had an opportunity to give one to Kruk. So
the hair.
Yeah, he definitely had the mop. So he was pretty thrilled when he got his.
I bet. How much does this weigh? Can we take this down?
Yeah.
Can I stand next to it?
Yep. I don't know if I've ever put it on a scale. So, but it's definitely a big. It might be as tall. It might be taller than you. You got it maybe by an inch or two.
About there.
But yeah.
I mean, it weighs. It's about my 2-year-old and my 5-year-old.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest swinging it. We have a couple guys that might be able to. We did one for the Savannah Bananas. They had to swing it like this in the game. So,
I bet.
But yeah, these are fun to do. I've done a couple of these, so they're definitely attention getters. So,
for sure.
Yeah. So here's I was talking about the
crayon box.
Yeah, we got the crayons. I was just real quick. This was I was talking about the Hollywood sign bats. So this is kind of what they look like. Victus wood for this one, and we got the LA silhouette with spotlights and all that, and you know. I put All-Star Game ASG 22 on there, but so all the players, we changed that out with their name. So, or what they went by. I thought this turned out to be a really nice bat that we were able to do. So, but the crayon bats, they're a design that I made for the Little League Classic. A couple of them, I think so far, the yellow, the yellow, red, and orange have gotten on the field yet. White is pretty much a no-no color, so that one probably will never get on the MLB field. The black one I could probably get away with, but I have to find. I try and do the colors that match the teams. So, but.
So enlighten me. I'm a very surface baseball fan.
Sure.
Why no white?
Well, we don't have a definite reason why, but the best that we've been told is that the white will confuse the players when it comes to the ball. So if you have a white bat hitting a white ball and the ball is coming off the bat at 115 miles an hour,
Okay.
it could get a little nerve-wracking. So,
get it.
and yeah, and all these have kind of cool baseball names. You know, walk-off white. This is eye black. This is foul pole yellow. This is out of here orange. This one is RBI red. Oh, that one's name's not on, but that's the color that's called. I actually made a pack of crayons that have 9 different colors. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's a bat that I haven't released yet. It's basically a salute to service bat.
The imagery of this being stitched is amazing though.
So my idea for this bat was that we would do camo and then replicate to a certain degree with the Victus logo the patch that goes on the uniform. So yeah, that's a very popular design, but I have not released it yet. So.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Thank you.
How did you make this? Did you do this with airbrush?
This is a different paint technique than just with an airbrush. So I'll put you like people that know. Okay. So we'll leave it there. But that is a very cool. It's based on I believe it was from the like 60s or 70s what they used to do with guitars. It's kind of the same process, but you get some really, really unique feels. So this is a bat. I just did a bat for autumn. I wanted a bat that had autumn leaves on it. So
Complete the collection.
Yep. So this bat here, and I can show you in the office, this bat here was inspired by Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I happened to run into him in the King of Prussia Mall, and he was wearing rainbow Crocs. So I came back to the shop, and I'm like, I'm making a tie-dye bat for him. And I did it, and I sent it out to him, and then he took it and used it in BP. And then we decided to release the bat.
That's dope.
Thank you. Thank you. This one, Ugly Sweater. It's based on a sweater. Got Santa Claus on it. So...
This looks like a sticker.
No.
This looks like a sticker. Like
it's all painted. It's all part of the process that I do. So.
Oh, I say that to give kudos.
Oh, thank you. So it's got a little instead of little birds in the sky, it's got Victus V's. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's it was a very popular bat. We didn't release a lot of them just because they took a lot of time to do.
I would imagine.
Yeah, I'm working on different versions of it now. But I have enough gray hair, so it's probably not going to be this detailed.
I hear that.
So, and then
this guy.
Yeah.
I did see Blimpy in here. Well, not in here, but I seen the video.
Yeah. That was a fun day having Blimpy here. So he came and they shot an episode, and we're excited for when that one comes out. So actually, he did a little bit of airbrushing too.
Okay.
So, yep. These are some different collabs that I've done. Some collabs I like to do. That was a Tatis NFT bat. That bat was done with Eternia. Eternia. I think it's Eternia. Yeah. So, but anyhow, so what they did was we tried to do something that they weren't doing at the time with NFTs, which was release the NFT, which is the digital that you can get, but then we wanted to give people a real piece of artwork that was physical that they could touch. So whenever you bought the NFT, you got one of these bats shipped to you as well. So this was a D. Watson collab that we did. The other one is the hot dog bat with the mustard. This one was more of a branded bat. So this was designed after the San Diego Padres.
I feel like they were just wearing these jerseys.
Yeah, they're City Connects. So I had opportunity to get with the Padres, and so I did these bats for the different players. I put their numbers on them as well to kind of match their uniforms. So the Natural Light, we did a Natural Light project. That was actually the first project I did for Victus. They wanted someone. Oh, you like the Call of Duty? Yeah, right to the Call of Duty. So last year
stands out.
Yeah, last year we did a Call of Duty collab with Under Armour. I did the bats, Under Armour did the cleats, and we presented a custom case to Juan Soto and Julio Rodriguez I did like 4 different Call of Duty bats that went inside that case. So there's a lot of work that's been done in the last 3.5 years, and so I can't imagine what the walls are going to look like in the next 3.5 years.
Well, you said earlier you're moving up front, so you'll have walls.
Yeah.
This is just one wall. You'll have 4 of these, 3 other.
Certainly.
Oh yeah. Let's go to the office.
Okay.
What you got in there?
All right. So,
Well, on the way there, you were talking about the wood and how you guys, the quality of the wood of the bat. Is this like a raw bat?
yeah, well,
If there was a thing?
I mean, the shop is big. I don't know if you want me to get into all that.
Just a brief.
So when we get these are called billets. We get billets in, and we go through and we inspect the billets, and we weigh the billets, and we basically sort them out to figure out what bat model they're going to be the best for.
Okay.
So that's what these are. This is it before it gets turned into a baseball bat.
Okay. What kind of wood is this?
This is maple.
Gotcha.
So we mostly use maple, some birch, not too much ash anymore. So, but yeah, they all have to be sorted out and gone through. So.
Bet.
Since o'clock, Philly fade. This is a cut off your top. I'm Allen, now you Ty Lue. I'm stepping in, sweeping shop, a wildcat Christian.
So this is another part of my world here where I'll come and I'll start with my designs here. So welcome to the Bat King office for I guess we'll call it.
Indeed.
So in here is when I'll come in, I'll start sketching on the computer, and then I'll start designing on the computer. But the walls are decorated in here. This is kind of a little bit of we tried to make it kind of like a little bit of a museum. So to give people an idea of, it's cool to see the bats, but this gives people an idea of seeing the bats actually in motion. So over here on the wall, you can see, here's Bryce Harper in spring training with a Fanatic bat that I did for him.
The Gritty
There's
commercial.
the Gritty video that they did. So great shot of Gritty there. We have some players over here. So as I was talking about before, there's Brandon Marsh with his little Uzi Vert bat. So we have Jack Mayfield with his crayon bat. So Urias with the crayon bat. So, then above we have pictures of, me presenting to certain players and some
Rainbow
other
Crocs.
artists. Yeah, that's the picture from the mall. Yep. I feel like it tells a really good story. And then over here you see it's
Definitely to see the bat first.
yeah, it's right over there is after I made the bat and sent it to him. So
It's dope.
that showed up on Twitter. Like, we sent it to him, and he's not traditionally a Victus guy. So when a picture of him pops up on Twitter with a Victus custom bat, it's a great feeling. It really is. So,
That right there.
this one, yeah, the rally stick, yeah. So this one was actually autographed to me from Tatis. So, but the idea is that they're there in the dugout doing that. Sorry about that. But
That's dope.
yeah. So, and the chain is actually just Velcroed on. So the chain can swing as well if you want the chain to swing. So,
Okay.
yeah, I had this idea, a little bit based on MLB The Show. They did a campaign with Tatis where they had a puppet, which I have a picture on my wall over there of the puppet because I had a chance to mess with it. But yeah, I was like, man, teams need to have a rally stick. So that was what this is for.
All right.
So
Shout out
they're
Tatis.
signing it. Yeah.
That's a good shot of him.
So for the New York Yankees, Anthony Volpe made his debut this season. So we released a bat. This is, we call it Arrived because Anthony would take the subway into New York for his practices and games for the different teams that he was on. So this was a bat to commemorate his opening day. So, yep.
It's definitely interesting in here.
Thanks. Yeah,
Cool
that's a concept design that I did. I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool to make a baseball bat look like a cue stick? So I screwed that on there. But yes, it kind of helps complete that picture. So
Definitely does.
and then on this wall here, you can see some more guys in the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby and all that stuff, getting their bats and using them. There's Bad Bunny with a metal softball bat I painted for him. So,
I did see him in a celebrity. It was a celebrity All-Star game.
Yep.
Home Run Derby. What do they call it?
it was a celebrity
Celebrity
All-Star game, softball game. Yep. Yeah, Bad Bunny. Like, I mean, I didn't know him, but a day before we flew out, we were like, let's do a softball bat for him. And when we went there, you know, we met with the woman who was in charge of it. She's like, yeah, I'll put it in his trailer. So, you know, we left the stadium, we did our job. We go to the bar to watch the game, and next thing you know, he comes out of center field with the bat in his hand. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is one of the biggest names on the planet. He's walking out with a custom Victus bat. You know? So, and then he hands it to the first time he handed it to Vladimir Guerrero Sr. To let him swing it, and then he handed it to David Ortiz, which was awesome. You know, so we had a Victus bat in two legends' hands, and then Bad Bunny took a hack, you know, which was pretty cool. So
Did he make contact though?
I believe he did. Yes.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
All right.
Yep.
All right, Bad Bunny.
Here, this is a picture of Fernando Tatis Sr. He's holding a Warhawk, but he actually, I have another bat that I do a custom fungo. He actually uses that for his practices, so which is pretty cool. You know, it's neat that the young kids use them, but the older guys, the legends, are using them as well.
Right.
So,
Right.
but-
You got yourself a star?
yeah, zoom in on that.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, so the picture tells the whole story. I don't need to say anything about the picture. I get a lot of questions about that one. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. It's, you know, doing what I do, I've been very fortunate. It takes me to a lot of places. So, you know, meeting some interesting, unique people. There's Chuck Liddell there, and one of my favorite people that I met in the last year is right there is Vinny Paz from Jedi Mind Tricks. One of my favorite rap groups ever, and I was blessed with him coming to the shop, and he actually spent a couple hours here, which was awesome. So, but
That's what's up.
yep. Oh, there's Jerks and Profar over there in the corner. So with Hassan Kim. That was a bat that was crazy. He wanted me to do a rush hour bat of him and Kim. And I was like, man, you know, how do I toe the line? I don't want to offend anyone. But the bat, the reactions when they got that bat, it was crazy. So Jimmy Garecki, he's from Norristown High School. He was a professional skateboarder. So had a very, very good career. He's working with LeBron James and a couple other big names. They're trying to build a skate park in Norristown. So, yep. Jimmy talks about how you know, helped him skating, like helped him stay out of trouble, and you know, he wants to bring that to Norristown. So, you know, he came to the shop. He works with Standard Issue Clothing as well. So he came to town, and we're just talking about how we can do things to help Norristown High, as well as any support we can give them for that skate park. So,
for sure.
but so
Speaking to your star, I said as I was setting this up, if you made something for a Snoop Dogg or a LeBron James, not to mention the stars of a specific sport, safe to say that you're probably the best at what you do. Or if you're not the best, then yeah, you're top tier. So no, you can humbly just say, okay.
I'll put it to you like this: I try to set the bar very high, so very high. So
Indeed.
I'm very, very hungry, and but I also want to make sure that I stay very humble, because I am very fortunate to be in the position that I'm in. But I think for anything, it would be me being in this position. It would be doing it a disservice if I didn't give it 110%. You know, I want to take full advantage of it and make the most of it. So the only way I can do that is to keep pushing, and you know, so you don't have to always be the best, you know, but you always want to push yourself forward. So, yep. So.
So Bruce, aka Bat King,
Right.
Appreciate the
No
time.
problem. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate
the tour.
No problem.
And
No problem.
it was real. The dope doesn't even begin to explain, to be able to see the bats and hear the stories, and again, just the time, but most importantly, the tour.
Save $76 on your purchase when you head to My Philly Fades Chop Shop /76 using promo code BATKING. Yeah.
Tour was dope.
Well, you're welcome here anytime. And like I said, we'll see what it looks like another 3 years from now.
All right.
Very
Yes,
cool.
sir.
Thank you.
We out.